He was always just doing like the most grandiose romantic gestures, like leaving notes for me, writing letters to me, giving thoughtful gifts, like the absolute most, like just worshipped the ground I walked on. What is the most awful thing a man has ever done to me post breakup, but also the most romantic? I'm about to tell you. I dated this man for a year, 9 years ago, and still to this day, he is the best boyfriend I have ever had. Hands down. The hold that this man had on me, like I really until recently would have dropped everything to be with this man again. He was one of the most romantic, thoughtful, sweet, like all of the above boyfriends I think I've ever met in my life. On his days off, if I was working, he would come to my work, grab my car, like wash it, clean it, fill up the tank, and then bring it back. He was always just doing like the most grandiose romantic gestures, like leaving notes for me, writing letters to me, giving thoughtful gifts, like the absolute most, like just worshipped the ground I walked on. And I am being 100% honest when I say I totally took it for granted. I have no idea why this man stayed with me or loved me so much, because I was terrible to him and like just thought it was a given that a man does these things. Like now I'm like, are you fucking dumb, Camille? Yes, I am. I'm stupid. One of the most thoughtful gifts he gave me for my birthday one year, well, I guess we were only together 1 year, so it's 1 year. Anyways, the most thoughtful gift he ever gave me was like an Eiffel Tower themed gift. The reason this is important is because I have collected Eiffel Towers like my entire life. I know it sounds so cheesy and corny and like, don't come for me, it's chuggy as hell. But I swear there's like a reason. It's not just because I'm corny, I swear to God. Anyways, he gets me this gift. It's so sweet. I like basically cry when he gives it to me. Like honestly, the most thoughtful gift I've ever gotten. We break up like 6 or 7 months later. The breakup was absolute hell. Like we were so tumultuous. We kept trying to get back together. We kept hooking up. Like it was just like, it was first love type shit where it was just like extra toxic, and we were just both so heartbroken and like really wanted each other back but couldn't figure out how to make it work. So we went like a good 6 months doing that, and then the following 6 months we just didn't really talk or like communicate. We were trying to be healthy. So a year after we break up, this is around the time the Explore page on Instagram becomes a thing. I'm on the Explore page and I see this man, the love of my life, with a half sleeve tattoo, like half of his arm covered in an Eiffel Tower with Mazzy Star lyrics right next to the Eiffel Tower. I text him. I'm like, oh, this is my in. Like, I can get him back. He still loves me. He told me the tattoo didn't represent me.
Well, Camille, you are a fool. You fumbled the bag. You dropped the ball. Because let me tell you something. And all you women that's listening, good quality, loving men who are willing to give you the world and roll the red carpet out and put your needs above his, they just don't grow on trees like that. They don't fall out of the sky. You don't just snap your finger. They just come knocking at the door and they're ready to give you world. Those men aren't out here like that. And they used to be, but they turn into a-holes. They turn into F-boys. They turn into all these toxic men that you ladies hate, that you get pumped and dumped by. Those were once good, loving, caring men at one point. But they ran into toxic creatures like you and they did a 180. She said, and I quote, "On my day off, he would come to my work, grab my car, wash it, clean it, fill up the tank, and bring it back to her." I don't know what type of dudes are still doing that, but man, she had a good guy. He was always doing the most grandiose romantic gesture. He was leaving notes, writing letters to me, and giving thoughtful gifts. I totally took it for granted. She also said, I had no idea why this man stayed with me and loved me so much because I was terrible to him. See, guys, you have to understand something. When you do all these things for a woman who's undeserving, who feels that she's entitled to all these different things, she's going to treat you like trash. A woman wants to be able to look up to her man, right? She wants to feel like, oh, this guy's superior to me. So whoever the guy was, he started off on the wrong foot because he's given all he has. He's taking her here. He's doing this for her. He's making sure she's good. He's running her errands, filling up her gas. All this stuff that this dude is doing. This simp, let's be honest. And she didn't deserve it because she never put in any work. She didn't put in any time. And I guarantee you, she never reciprocated any of the things that he did, right? She didn't write him any notes. She didn't do this for him. I guarantee she never even picked his car up and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to take your car over here and get a wash. I promise you she didn't do any of that. So it's fine if you do that for a woman, but she has to be doing that for you as well. She has to be putting in the time. She has to be putting in the work. Because there are some women, a small percentage, like a needle in the haystack, who are deserving of some of these things that this guy was doing for this female Camille. And what will happen is they'll appreciate it. But there's a large majority of women who just think, yeah, I'm a queen. I'm just here. I'm entitled to this. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to make 6 figures a year. You hear women say that, right? He got to be over 6 feet tall. He got to chase me. He got to give me the world. And then when you do all that for those women, when you wine and dine them, when you pay all their bills, when you give them money, when you buy them a car, when you do all this stuff, what usually happens? 99 times out of 100, they treat you like trash because they didn't deserve it. And 2, they usually leave you for a guy who's not doing any of that. You know why? Because they know for a fact, I don't deserve it. Deep down, they know they're not good enough for all those things. This woman, she knew she wasn't good enough for her ex-boyfriend to do all that. This is why she treated him like trash. I promise you, she never saw those sort of gestures for her father doing that for her mother. Because if she did, she said, oh, you know what? This is how I'm supposed to be treated. So I'm going to appreciate it. She just thought, just like most women think in this social media, digital age of dating apps and internet, oh yeah, he just got to do that. And then when that man does that, they usually friend zone him. They run him to the mud. They treat him like trash. They're just not overall appreciative. That's why I tell you guys, stop giving women all these different things. Stop treating them nice. Stop treating them good because they don't appreciate it. You hear it right here, guys, straight from the horse's mouth. She did not appreciate it because she felt that's what a guy should always do. And I've said this in many videos. If you treat a woman like a celebrity, she's going to treat you like a fan. That's what this guy was doing. And it backfired on him. And in the end, guess what? He got the last laugh because she's still on social media, making videos 9 years later, as she says. And she's like, man, this guy, he was the best guy I was with. Of course, he was the best guy. Because none of the guys that you're with would do all those things for you. Did a little more research as well. And she's also a single mother. So what does that tell you? That she's a horrible decision maker. That whoever the guy was that was giving all these things to her, running all these errands and making sure she's good and taking her here, taking her there. Whoever he is, he's doing good because he dodged a bullet. And she says, oh, they broke up because things were toxic. No, I promise you, he wasn't a toxic guy because that doesn't seem toxic for a man to take you to the Eiffel Tower, for a man to buy you this and do this. Doesn't seem really toxic, does it? See, she was toxic. That's what she doesn't want to say. She doesn't want to take accountability. And what woman truly wants to own up to her mess? No woman wants to say, you know, I did this to him. I did this and that. They'll say that, but then on the other hand, they'll say, well, we both were toxic. No, you were toxic, 100%. And now that you're a single mother, now that you're an individual who's getting older, you're starting to realize, as she says, man, I took him for granted. It's slim pickings out here. Because the older a man gets, the more he starts to realize, I don't need to do that for you. Man, a lot of men turn cold, they turn callous, they turn hard as a rock. And most dudes, as they get older, they start to learn game. See, this guy, Camille's ex-boyfriend, he didn't know game. He didn't know his value. He didn't know his worth. Because if he did, he wouldn't have done any of that stuff. So when men get their quote-unquote heart broken, or they go through situations like this with these sort of individuals, these toxic women, he's like, oh, okay, so I see how the game is. He deals with one too many women. All he needs to deal with is one, and now the game is going to change. Now being that gentleman, that loving guy, the guy who's going to just think about her nonstop and pedestalize her, those guys don't exist. Now that's an older guy. Now he sheds that skin, and he's a new man. He's a savage. He's a dog. He's an F-boy. He's an a-hole. He's a guy who learns game. He's a guy who contacts me. He's the guy who listens to these videos. He's the guy who pumps and dumps. He's the guy who smashes and dashes. Skeet, and delete. I can keep going. See, guys, Women, you're going to pay because there's not a lot of good men out here. I'm telling you, a lot of you women are doing men dirty. You're using men financially. You're stringing them along. You're doing all these different silly games because you think that type of man is going to be there again and again. He's just around the corner. A guy who's going to take me to the Eiffel Tower, he's just around the corner. He's just one swipe away. A guy who's going to pick my car up and take it, for a wash and fill my gas tank up, he's just on a dating app. He's just, at my job. I'm going to go out here and meet him. But women, you take men for granted because you don't know what you have until it's gone, just like this woman. And I know a lot of women want to get on camera and say, you know what, I made a mistake. I had a good man and I just totally messed it up because as they start to get older, they start to run into dudes who's just smashing. They start to run into dudes who just running that game, telling them whispering sweet nothings in their ear. And they start to realize, man, I'm getting pumped and dumped. This is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th relationship I'm on. And where are the good men? Well, look what you did to the good men. Look at all you women are doing. You're running men into the ground who care about you, who genuinely love you, who love you unconditionally, who don't want anything in return. And then you just dog them out. You run these toxic, silly games. And then you think he's going to take it. You think he's going to stick around and be there for you and say, well, we're going to work this out. No, men have a breaking point as well. Men have that point where they say, is the juice worth the squeeze? A lot of men, as they get older, they're like, man, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze as far as a long-term relationship. So we can have some casual. We can just have a friends with benefits. We can hook up, but I'm not trying to invest in you. I'm not trying to do the things that Camille's ex-boyfriend is doing for you. I'm not going to buy you this. Why should I buy you that? Because most women, they don't even require you to buy them anything. Dudes just do that out of the kindness of their heart. See, if a woman is really into you, she's not going to have you do all those different things. You don't have to do that. And for the poor guy who got railroaded, seems like he has turned a new leaf. He has a new tattoo of the Eiffel Tower, and she looked like she was trying to get back in touch with him and everything. And, oh, it's my time. And a lot of women do that. I had women text me or call me, get in contact with me via social media 3, 4, 5 years later. Hey, and they like nothing happened. They try to pick up where they left off. And you're like, do you not know you was on some goofy, shady stuff? You asked for space. You said, hey, we're not on the same page. We're going in different directions. And these women think they could just pick up wherever they left off. Like, hey, what's up, Darius? Hey, what's up, Bob? Hey, what's up, Jim? Hey, how are you? How are things been? It's like, I haven't talked to you in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Guys, understand something about women. Most of them feel entitled to all the things that her ex-boyfriend was doing for her. They just feel like, oh, he should just do this because I'm a woman, because I'm a queen, because I've deserved these things. But no woman on this planet deserves any good treatment, any respect, unless they actually reciprocate the same things that they want. And most women don't want to do that. They just have their palms out. They say, give me, do this for me. And then when you want the same things done for them or just something, some sort of a gesture, they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't got to do that. It's sad, but a lot of women are starting to live with regret because they've all ran into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 nice guys in their life and they rejected them. But as they get older, the wall comes and now they're sitting there alone, reminiscing, wondering, full of regret. What if?